Last episode, you would have seen both myself and Andrew from Motive Video at Sparesbox HQ. We were both given a project ute each. I have received this VE Commodore. It's a SS manual ute, and Andrew has an FG XR8 manual ute as well. So we've both been tasked with building a car basically in our own style. We don't actually know what we're going to be doing with it yet, but Sam from Sparesbox has told us that every part we use on this car has to be sourced from eBay. Well, I know Andrew's bringing in some reinforcements for building the Falcon, so I've recruited Ian over here. He's owned a few Commodores and he's definitely an old hand at LS things. So we're gonna go under the car, as I mentioned, sort of check out the general health of the car and actually plan the build as we go along, going under it and looking at it.
The walk-up start is probably your shocks and springs.
They look pretty tight. I'd say the shocks are probably gonna be original. It does have some super low springs on it. I don't love the ride height. I probably want to lift it up a little bit, so we might just look to do shock and spring package. I don't really want to go coilovers on this car because, like you said, we don't actually know what the challenges are going to be yet. So if we go too track heavy, I think we may run into issues.
You don't want to lose the, hauling Portaloos challenge. A good shock in these things makes all the difference to this platform.
Yeah.
And also fresh end links. And maybe let's have a look at your sway bar too.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to go replacing all these links and bushes, do we just get like a white line bar kit or something? Because a lot of those kits you can get a full package now where you get the link, the bush and the bar. The calipers look pretty tired. There's definitely not a lot of brake pad left in there.
There's HSV brakes, which bolt straight on, but there's also the Redline pack Brembos, which were tip-top. Nice. Most guys, what they did when the tradie sort of signed up and hocked themselves into debt to get one of these, it was slam it on springs and stock shocks, bolt up some HSV replica 20s and an exhaust for the Dorts, and then cruise around Sutherland Shire.
So what you're saying is we've got a tradie starter pack here.
Yeah, this is like, I feel like a second year apprentice being this close to it.
It does have an exhaust. It's really, really droney. Some of this stuff actually looks pretty damaged as well, so I think we'll probably go with a full exhaust on it.
He's tried to endurance clearance this pipe to terra firma.
Yeah, there's been some jumping.
I had a 6-litre VF ute with a cam and all that sort of stuff, and it never droned, but it did have rear mufflers.
It definitely has a rear main leak as well. That's a bit of a concern for me. The clutch was a little bit funny when we were at the drags the other night, so there's every chance that there's some oil contamination there. So probably going to be looking at a clutch kit. I think we'll stay with an OEM style, probably do just like an extreme organic heavy duty, something like that.
The rails all seem to be nice and straight. It seems to be fairly clean. I don't think he's yeeted it up any gutters or tricky situations. So I can see you've got some nice Gosford Racing slicks on the back already.
Definitely needs a wheel and tyre combo, that's for sure.
The beauty of the VE ute is you can stuff a huge amount of wheel and tyre under the back, and they're actually a really, really good handling platform.
Yeah.
These things are kind of like a Corvette with an extra big boot.
Yeah, right.
Basically.
Watch all the comments light up for that.
Americans, relax. I'm not dissing your sneens. Yeah, look, they're a great platform, and I think just doing the basics and having a look at sort of basic maintenance of a 150,000k old car is kind of where we should start with this. And if there's opportunities to throw some habaneros in the mix and spice her up, then
and even looking at the back here too, like same thing, sway bar links, the bushes. I know Whiteline do a lot of sort of void fill outs. Depending on what's available for the VE, we'll definitely be checking that out.
If it was a drag racing challenge, you know exactly, with all this acreage, you could hang a couple of nice sized
tailpipe turbo.
Couple of nice sized
You're a bad man.
Emissions recirculating gas powered mufflers.
Yeah.
In the back office.
Some class 2 resonators. I'd kill for a spare wheel just quietly. Well, I think we don't focus too heavily on one genre, but we definitely try and make a super nice streeter. The thing we haven't really touched on is performance. Being that this thing's already a 6-litre, I think we can stay in A. Hopefully there's a head package. Maybe there's a shop already on eBay with a head package. Let's actually write this list down because we've done a lot more talking than writing. But yeah, we'll write it down, jump on eBay and see what's actually available.
Get some parts.
eBay's showing that we're going to see most of those parts in 4 or 5 days, but I do want to get a start on this today. So the plan's going to be pretty much blow this thing apart. We're going to get all our fluids out of it. And from talking to Ian, the best way to actually remove the engine from this car is going to be dropping it out the bottom, which incidentally is the way that Holden put these cars together in reverse. Everything went from the bottom in. So we're going to be dropping all of our exhaust out, we can actually take the transmission off the engine before we pull all of the engine down. But we've got tons of stuff to do. Going to drain all our fluids out. We're going to spill coolant everywhere because that happens every time. But we're going to be blowing this thing apart, and by the end of the day, hopefully we'll have probably a little bit more of a comprehensive list of parts we need. No doubt we'll find things as we're pulling the car apart, and that's the other reason I do actually want to get into it nice and early, so that if we do need to add stuff to the order, we can probably still get the sellers to ship it today. So let's dive on in.
Let's splash some forbidden cordial around.
Doesn't matter how big the tray is, it'll still miss it. Oh no! Not the beautiful wheels.
I did not do that. This was already cooked.
The one downside when you are pulling the engine out of a Commodore is if you drop it out the bottom, you do need to degas the air conditioning. Fortunately, we've had the aircon decommissioned and we've just quickly removed the fittings off it. We are going to make sure we tape up all of those fittings as well so we don't get any contamination into the aircon system, so that when we do get it recommissioned, it's pretty much a vac out and a regas. If you do, for whatever reason, get contamination in it, they can also flush the system before regassing it, but hopefully with us basically resealing the system, we won't have any problems. So the radiator is about to come out, which does have the aircon condenser bolted to it. We've already drained that of coolant now. Then we're probably going to lift it up. We'll undo all of our suspension. We'll pull our transmission out. We'll pull our exhaust off, and our tail shaft will obviously come out as well. And then we can keep on trucking. Don't use your hand to hammer stuff. Rah, the internet. Huh. TR6060.
What?
It's a VE2 box.
This must have been a real late VE1. Because this should be a T56.
I know. Well, it has a speed sensor, and apparently that's the tell. Huh.
Welcome to Mysteries of Benny's Custom Works. The crazy thing with Holden is like, when they get to
what they had on the day.
Yeah, when they get to changeover points, there are stories of like some cars, some HSVs having a Gen 3 LS2, which has 24 tooth crank trigger and all that jazz, and cathedral port heads, and some of them having 6 litre Gen 4 motors, like, which are a complete different ECU and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that thrust bearing's had a good run.
when it sounds like a skateboard truck, it's probably not that great.
Wow. Okay, cool. Never seen that happen before.
You know what LS stands for? Limiter smasher. Na 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 na.
Ian, everybody.
This is what happens when you give a diabetic sugary drinks.
It's just gone 15 on the weird shitter meter. Lost me, Nico.
some things.
Seen some action, that one.
It's seen some life.
And a lot of heat, like heaps of heat.
Went through before, jumped on eBay, and we've already ordered a lot of the chassis side of it. But now that we've actually got into the mechanicals of the engine, definitely need to get a rear main seal, we need a front crank seal. Powerbond do a really nice kit that comes with all the idlers, the belts, the whole deal. So that could save us a lot of time shopping around for individual parts.
A GTX 55 would be nice.
Yo, mate.
We need some service parts basically, because the engine's done the chassis says it's done 155,000 k's, 140,000 k's or something like that. But it seems to have been.
I reckon half of that's probably on the brake.
Yeah, I think it's been a fairly hard 100,000 k's, and it just needs, like, some of the plugs have just exploded as we've pulled them apart. The heads look fairly tired. We were trying to check out oxygen sensors, how they were when we were pulling them apart, and there was some issues with them. I think it'd be wise to go new heads and maybe new valve train to suit some womp.
We'll probably do some ARP fasteners, probably head studs. The internet will crucify us if we do a cam and all this stuff and not put any water pump on.
For the amount of time it actually takes and the amount of stuff you've got to undo to do a water pump on these engines, you may as well do it now.
Especially in a car. We're literally there now. The water pump's often over there against the wall, so.
Maybe if you can find some GM performance heads, because they should come complete with everything, and then we can literally plop them on. Yeah, perfect. There you go.
Nice. Fully assembled heads. CNC ported too, that's a win. Yeah. And if they're CNC ported GM performance, you know they're going to be spot on.
Yeah.
Already got springs, valves, retainers, the whole deal.
They should have much better springs than a standard LS head, because these things are bloody weak as a newborn kitten.
Nice. Well, that's the head sorted. What are you thinking cam-wise? Like this kit, for instance?
I'd say that would be...
I think that'll work because it's cams, or a cam, I should say.
You only got
silly kid in his Japanese engines.
There's only one in here, bro. It's okay. It's in the block. It won't hurt you.
That's a crow cam. Got some push rods in there, and also got LS7 lifters and lifter trays.
Perfect. That was going to be the next thing I was going to say. If you're doing cam, do LS7 lifters. They're a factory part. They're in the high revving, 7-litre naturally aspirated.
And if we chuck enough of these parts together, we can say it's a unopened stock bottom end, right?
This will definitely be the fastest white VE Commodore ute with a deregistration plate driven by a guy called Ben.
On a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
Well, that is the record we're going for, so as long as we get that, I'm happy.
As long as but to get that record, we need to get this car done in 4 days, otherwise you're going to lose the shop.
Well, first of all, massive thanks to Ian. Your help today has been invaluable. We've now got a massive list of parts that we've ordered on eBay, and hopefully in the next week or so, those will start to roll in. So we'll be able to start diving into this engine, I guess. We don't want to bust it open until we've got the bits ready to go to pull it together. Next week's episode is going to be on the Motive video channel. So Andrew and the guys there will be pulling apart their Falcon. And in 2 weeks, we'll be back putting this thing back together. Thanks obviously to Sparesbox and to eBay for this project, this challenge. Thanks to you guys for watching. Thanks guys. See you next time.